Hi, hello, it's me, Julian Greystoke. Welcome back to my living room. Nigel is here. Jojo is also here, but she's over there because she does not like to be on camera very much. Today, we are doing a video that actually I'm behind on. I meant to get to this sooner, but I am very easily distracted. In my defense, I have a book that's being beta read right now, and it's pretty much consumed my whole life, and I've made it my entire personality. A while back, I asked my viewers on my YouTube channel, what are some tropes that you don't see enough of? We all have fun picking apart the tropes that we see too often, the tropes that we hate, but this time I wanted us to talk about tropes that we wish we saw more. I've got my tablet Guilty Spark here, so I got a lot of responses on my YouTube channel, and also some over on Twitter. So we're gonna look at YouTube first, and then we'll go over to Twitter. This first person says, I really like cinnamon roll male leads. The ones that are big and strong but have a soft side to him. He is just a nice guy who would do anything for his friends, family, lover, whatever. I feel this type is overshadowed by the brooding, tortured male leads who are really psychos in the true sense. I agree. I love a cinnamon roll. Give them to me, please. And quite frankly, we do not see enough of them. However, and now it begins, you can see one in my book Adventurer Mage, which is in beta right now, but you can read an early version of it on Wattpad, and you may see the published version of it at some point this year. A lot of these tropes that people are hoping to see are in Adventurer Mage, and I'm gonna keep pointing it out. This next person says, I like protagonists not chosen by prophecy or a higher power, but simply circumstance. This is actually gonna be something that I see repeating quite a bit from all of these, is people are hungry for an everyman. Just some guy who gets into the adventure versus somebody who's chosen, who's special, who's the very best one. Like, sometimes even if it's just some guy, it always turns out that he's actually the rare, long-lost whatever. And people are getting sick of it, clear as evidenced by at least this list. This person also wants to see more magically resurrected undead. Zombies these days seem to be the result of viruses, where I yearn for the classic sword and sorcery style undead, risen via necromancers or other intelligent undead. That's really interesting. I think I've talked about this before in one of my zombie videos because I love zombies. Zombies are a good indicator of what we fear, like collectively at any given time. So a while ago, voodoo. Very scary, afraid of witches and people bringing zombies back from the dead. Then they were like radiation zombies, zombies caused by nukes or the sun or something like that. And now, virus zombies, which I think we can all understand why we're afraid of and have been for a while. This person wants to see more drunk mentors who have lost their way but come back thanks to the hero they're training. So your Haymitch types. Haymitch is the only one I can think of, so possibly we need more of these. Or maybe like a sort of a... It wasn't that in like a kung fu movie ages ago or something like that, but I don't see it very much, so maybe it does need to make a comeback. Now, some of the things that people are talking about in this list are just things that they like to see in general and aren't necessarily tropes, but I think that's okay. I think we can all talk about both tropes and things in general that we'd like to see more of in fiction. I hope all of you authors out there are taking notes. This person wants to see just more character agency in general. So often the story just keeps throwing things at the protagonist and they just have to deal with it. I want them to actually have a role in moving things forward, and for them to have the option to say, fuck it, I'm out, screw you guys, I'm going home. And for that to actually be a viable option they consider in their moment of darkness. Because all too often they have a bad guy that wants to kill them or something. It's just assumed that they keep going because walking away is never an option. When they can walk away, the choice to keep going becomes an expression of their character and personal growth, rather than an act of survival/necessity. So yeah, I definitely get that. Character agency is important, and sometimes it can just be that we're just throwing things at the character and not giving them a chance to make decisions of their own. Definitely consider when you're writing, what would happen if my character just said fuck it and like went home? Why would they say that? What could induce them to say that, and what would happen if they did? This person wants to see more second chance love. Everyone is obsessed with enemies to lovers. They are. It's like the big thing right now. I just want to see old flames getting back together and working on their relationships to make it better this time. I will say this is one of my least favorite tropes, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be seeing more of it. Just because I don't like it as a trope doesn't mean it's a bad trope. This person also wants to see more canonically ace arrow characters who are accepted for who they are and not shoehorned into a relationship, because if you aren't attached to anyone, there's something wrong with you. On this, we can 100% agree. And also, you should read Adventurer Mage. And actually, most of my fiction these days includes this, so if this is something that you're looking for, I might be the author for you. This next person says they want to see good family units. I understand from experience that it's a lot easier to write a story, especially YA, if you just get the parents out of the picture somehow. But it's so important to show young people what a good family looks like. I want to see more YA characters who actually like their parents and have a good relationship with them. Yes, definitely, 100%. I think that we, all of us, myself included, need to challenge ourselves more to get the whole family, the parents, the siblings, into the story. Like, where's the adventure story where the kid is the chosen one, but he brings his whole family along? I would read the crap out of that. And I don't even like chosen ones. Also, the same thing with sibling relationships. I feel that there is some unspoken rule in fiction that siblings have to kind of low-key hate each other or not get along. Yeah, 100% agree. I want to see way more of those family dynamics. Really have fun with it. Actually, if you want a book with great family dynamics, check out Blood Like Magic. I recently read it. I've got a review of it either coming out soon or it already has come out. I don't know what order these videos are going to come out in, but I really enjoyed it, and the family dynamic, mwah, chef's kiss. This person says they want to see more prophets, specifically the ones where you see the toll it takes on them and how they struggle to decipher what the prophecy means. This is interesting. We do see a lot of people who are affected by the prophecies, but we don't see too many stories about the prophet. That would be really interesting. Like, what if you're the guy who tells Jim that he's the chosen one, and then Jim goes off to save the fucking day, and you're the guy who sent him out there, and Jim is, like, having a really bad time, and it's kind of your fault. This person wants to see main POV characters who are the villain and remain the villain through the whole story. Like, they never turn out to be the good guy. I can't say that that's a trope that I'm terribly excited by, just because, like, it's really hard to have a villain who is likable. Like, it's a really challenging thing to do, and I think what I've seen so far has not impressed me. Not that I've read every version of this that exists, but I'm sure someone could do it well, and I'm open to someone trying. Apparently, though, this person commented that it is a thing that happens in Attack on Titan, which I am not very familiar with, so check that out. Here's somebody else who wants more everyman, more underdogs. We all love underdogs, so that's not really an underused trope. This person wants to see more when you have a long-running novel series and the protagonist of earlier books shows up in a later story with the new main character. One of my favorite examples, won't name it because it's a spoiler, had the original protagonist solving her son's problem in about 3 minutes. It sounds like it wouldn't be satisfying, but it works because asking for help and accepting his estranged family is a resolution of his character arc. So that's really cool. And I think it would be very satisfying as a reader to have a character who you followed in like books 1 and 2 show up and be like, yep, I've been through this. Here's how you solve it. I honestly think I would find that gratifying. Instead of just watching the next character in line struggle with the same thing, just have the first character be like, nope, this is how you deal with it. Let's move on. I kind of dig that. Here's another person talking about prophecies. Having the hero deal with prophecies not in the classical sense. More like what it would mean for someone to be able to accurately predict the future and the kind of tough choices that would come along with that. So another person who wants to see the world from the point of view of the prophet versus the chosen one. And like I said before, I'm kind of on board for it. The other thing they want to see is kids making smart choices. If all kids were as dumb as the movies make them out to be, the human race would have died ages ago. Yeah, especially in like middle grade and YA, the characters are real dumb sometimes, and you're just like, how? I know you're young, but like a line has to be drawn somewhere. Here's an interesting one that I don't think I've really seen. The mentor character starts out good, but turns evil. I mean, I guess I have seen it in a couple places. It does come up every now and then, but I don't think it's a super common trope. So yeah, it would be interesting to see more. We have another person asking for more everyman characters. I get it, yeah, everyman. I love an everyman as well. This person does mention that they want the everyman protagonist to get into the situation through skill and hard work and their own choice versus necessarily just being dumped into it. But also, they aren't like the most magical or the most special. They've worked to get where they are, and I dig it. This person, they would like to see more genuinely good people. People who are just kind and good. I feel like morally gray characters have been popular for a long time, and I like those too, but I get kind of tired of stories where the bad guys are always winning, or even the good guys are kind of bad guys in their own way. Sometimes I just want a wholesome story about genuinely kind and good person who wins, and bad people getting what they deserve. We have another siblings who get along. Need to see more of it. Platonic love between opposite sex pairs. Yes, I am trash for it. Read Adventure of Mage. They also would like to see siblings, opposite sex siblings, depicted as close as well. Specifically, like we already talked about the siblings and how we want to see more of them be close, but opposite sex siblings are often not allowed to just be like best friends, and I would love to see more of it. One of my brothers and I grew up very close, and we were basically each other's best friend for a very long time, so totally there for it. They'd also like to see more, like, playing it straight is what they call it, like in a vampire contemporary. Oops, lost a little bit of footage. That happens every now and then when my camera makes a bookmark, because it bookmarks like every 20 minutes or something like that. Anyway, what this person would like to see is they would like a world where vampires just like never existed in the cultural zeitgeist. At least that's what I'm understanding from this comment. Instead of it being like, oh, someone's been bitten, maybe it was a vampire. They want to see it be more like a mystery of like, what is this thing? Why was this person bitten? Is it an animal? Something like that. That's my understanding. And that could be interesting. A lot of stories that deal with zombies, it's about 50-50 if you're a zombie connoisseur like myself, whether zombies exist in the media of the story. A lot of times people go with, no, zombies have never been heard of before. And I like it. I like it both ways, actually. They would also like to see, and I agree, I feel like characters don't make reasonable mistakes often enough. They either have a perfect sixth sense, or they make mistakes as the plot demands it. And I feel like lots of subplots, at least, could be built around reasonable misunderstandings, but writers miss a ton of them. Yeah, a lot of the misunderstandings that happen in stories feel super forced, just because it's like, oh, it's the part of the story where the characters have to have a misunderstanding now, instead of letting it come organically from the characters. This person wants to see more kids who move to Grandpa's farm, and Grandpa's farm is either a portal to a magical land, or the kid bonds with Grandpa like he's never bonded with his parents. And this last person also says they want to see more underdogs and anti-heroes. So definitely a lot of the vibe of, we want to just see normies, we want to see regular people experiencing these stories, versus we're kind of done, at least on my channel, with chosen ones, with the most special one. And I 1000% agree with that, because I have always kind of been annoyed by, she's not only a wizard, she's the strongest wizard. Actually, he's not a regular guy, he was an angel all along. Everybody turns out to be special, and more special than anybody else. And sometimes you just want a story about some guy. Because we're some guy. I'm some guy. Like, I'm nobody, and I would like a story about a nobody, please. Now let's go over to Twitter and see what people are saying over there. If I can find it. This is a problem with me having let it go so long.
3 hours later.
I found it. I finally found it. It's probably darker in this room since the last time I said anything, because it took me forever to find it. But it's here. I knew I had several replies, so I didn't want to miss out on it. Alright, the first person says they want to see more of the extended disarming scene, which is pretty fun, where a character is forced to remove their weapons and just spends ages pulling out knives, guns, and whatever else fits in the setting, even if it's logically too big for their coat pockets. Every time I see this, I get the stupidest grin. Me too. Me too. It's so fun. It's a little bit more fun, I think, in a visual medium than it is on the page, but it's still super fun. This person wants to see more nemeses. I don't always hate enemies to lovers, but I do hate it for stomping on the nemesis trope every time it gets a glimpse of existing. I mean, yeah. This isn't a trope, but this person just wants to see characters being actual 3D people. Yeah, I think it's really important, all of us authors, whether we're plotters, whether we're pantsers, that we really try to think of our characters as people. Now, if you're not comfortable with the whole talking about them like my character did this, that, whatever, you know, like talking about them as though they are real, that's fine, but you have to think of them as though they could exist, or else they just feel fake. Not enough mismatched duos in writing. There's plenty on film. I don't know what kind of mismatched duos you're looking for, but I'm here for a mismatch. I just, you know, the grumpy one is soft for the sunshine one. Who doesn't love it? This person wants to see more friendships with unconventional members. An example would be the characters in the Artemis Fowl series. It's been a long time since I read Artemis Fowl. All of them were crazy and unique, and I love their dynamic. Ooh, here's another one that I totally agree with. I love seeing a sexually experienced woman with an inexperienced man. It seems like most romance is filled with the opposite scenario. Yes, I want to see more sexually experienced women. And I know, I'm ace. But gosh darn it, I get so tired of seeing all these delicate little virgins who have never seen a dick before. Plus, it just perpetuates the toxic masculinity that men are just expected to be out there having sex like crazy, even if they don't want to. This person also wants to see more thruples instead of love triangles, which I guess I'm here for as well. I don't know, I don't read a lot of romance, so like, it doesn't matter to me that much if there's a love triangle or a thruple, but more thruples, yes. And more just polyamory, as long as it's well done. I feel like the little bit of polyamory that I've read wasn't the best done, so I'm hoping that we do see more of it coming from people who actually have experience with healthy polyamorous relationships and can get that onto the page. Alright, I think that's everything for this video. I bet you it was super long, but I don't care. I really wanted to get this one done with because people have been waiting for it for so long. If you want to make sure that you see any time that I ask people for their opinions, don't forget to subscribe to me so that you can follow me more easily. Links to all of my social media as well is in the doobly-doo. Come on over to Twitter where I often ask the same questions that I ask here on my channel. Thanks so much as always for watching. There's a lot more content here on my channel, so I hope you go check it out. I've been at this for a long time, so you're bound to find something else you like to watch. And you can support me over on Patreon as well for even more content. Now I know I've been promoting Adventurer Mage, but it's not out yet as of the filming of this, but what you can read is this. My book, The Wolf and the Hawk, which is a fantasy romance that does have a sexually experienced female lead. How about that? And I will see all of you again next time with whatever it is I happen to be doing next time. Bye!
Gallivant may not believe in you, but I do. I super believe in you, Tad Cooper.
Rita, Thea, Alyssa, Deborah, Afra, Melissa, AC, Swamp Goblin Waifu, Sophia, Merween, Kit, Hidden Glade, Light Julie, Belle, Patrick, Anne Sophie, Ray, Shelby, Zaire, Jesper, Irene, Scribbling Cat, Savvy, Jenny, Amanda, Lisa, Sarah, and Lennox. Thanks for super believing in me, everyone.
Let's kick out the windows, let's write on the walls, climb over the fences, run down the halls. In the light dying, we'll rage and fight, go kicking and screaming into that good night.